Hey, hi, people, people of faith, people who believe in something. Uh, People that don't believe in anything. Yeah, I'll talk to you too. Faith is tested. You can believe that in your life, and depending on how long you're alive, your faith will be tested to the extreme. And the results may not be what you would prefer or that you think that they should be, but in the end, you end up realizing, I've ended up realizing that faith is a good thing. It's challenged, man. Anything good is not going to be easy. That's, you know, anything worthwhile to you and anything that you're going to get a sense of satisfaction out of doing or accomplishing or achieving. If it's easy, then it's not that big of a deal. If it's hard, like President John Kennedy said, we don't choose to go to the moon, and these things are not easy. We choose to go to the moon and do these things because they are hard. That's why you choose a task, a career, and not because it's hard, but because you know it's worthwhile and you want to do it. We wanted to go to the moon. I mean, the space race accelerated so fast and so quickly in the late 50s. You know, Russia put up the first man-made satellite, Sputnik. And my father was trying to explain it to me. What was that, 58, 57, 58, I think? It could have been 59. I'm 8 years old. I don't have a clue what he's talking about. Look at that. And we all went outside at nighttime to watch Sputnik go over. And I thought I saw a light moving, but to this day I'm not really sure. And then we went to the moon. Grissom, Chaffee, and Young paid, with their lives to reach that goal. Horrible end of their lives, my God. Oh, jeez. Rest in peace, you guys. That would have been Apollo 7, I think. And these three guys got killed on the launch pad, trapped inside their capsule and it caught on fire. Oh, my God. Anyway, I just wanted to tip my hat to Gordon Lightfoot. And he is slipping away on that carefree highway. Let me slip away on you. I want to do that so bad. Jeez. Can't do it. Not right now, not yet. Yeah, he wrote some good stuff, and he's a good performer too. His voice is captivating, and his melodies and lyrics are good too. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, I think it's a sin when I think that I'm winning and I'm losing again. So it is May 4th, 2023. It's about 9:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time on a Thursday. And I can't help it. People say, "Well, let that go, and don't think about that." Well, there's some things that just kind of like leverage their way into my consciousness, and not much I can do about it. And I think about every time this year I'm reliving anniversaries, good and bad, but I concentrate on the good. And there was two right now. Let's see, 26 years and 30 years. 30, 93, 30, 93 was 30 years ago. I think about 1993. There's no internet, and there are no smartphones either. It's like the dark ages. Yeah, so 93, I'm divorced now since January 7th, and it's May 4th, and I'm still in a state of shock because my kids were taken away, my children were taken away from me. When you're giving your life to your children, basically, that's what I did. And they're taken away from you, that's a shock to your system, a bad one. And I was so depressed. My father passed away April 10th, same year. That's about a little bit less than a month ago. And so I was in an emotional and psychological tailspin, really heading down. And my friend from Arizona calls me, Bruce Berman. And I've known him at this point, let me see, like 77, 87, like 16 years. I've known him 16 years. But we like to talk and we like to joke around, and we share a similar sense of humor, although his is more edgy than mine. Anyway, he's working in Arizona, in Sierra Vista, Arizona, as a newspaper photographer and a reporter. He can get information on a given story if he's on location. And I had not been to Arizona before. But anyway, he calls me, and I'm just like in a horrible state of mind day in and day out. Because I lost my family, they're gone. Although I see them, I'm seeing my children very young, 2, 5, and 7. They were never withheld from me, so to speak. Anyway. But at this point, okay, remember, my daughter is 8. Actually, they all 3 of them had a birthday by this time for that year. So my daughter's 8, Leslie is 6, and Martin is 3. And, when you have kids that age, you got to know what they're doing all the time. These days, more than ever. When I was that age, my parents would just say, go outside and play. There weren't that many cars, like in our neighborhood, there weren't these cars flying all over the place. And we could just go out and just go up and down the road and see who's around to play, ride bikes with, something, anything. Not now. Now you have to know what they're doing all the time. So, before my divorce, January 7th, I had to know what they were doing all the time. Now suddenly, they're taken away from me. I'm separated from them. And, I see them every other weekend, but primary custody is with their mother, and it's her responsibility to take care of these children. It's just, anybody that's a parent of little kids knows what I'm talking about. Pretty sure it's like you're with them so much, and then suddenly they're not around, and you feel like there's an absence or a void that's really strange and hard to deal with. And that's kind of what it was like. But although I didn't mind somebody else having that responsibility for a while. It's a huge responsibility. And there's nothing I could do about it. It was a court order saying, okay, they're going to be with your mother. If you want to see them, you got to talk to her. And she was okay. She's, even though she was off developing another relationship with a guy, she respected my role as a father, and I appreciate that from her. All that said, though, so in May of '93, my friend calls me right around now. And he says, Jerry, how you doing? I said, my life is in the trash can, Bruce. There's no other way to say it. I feel like my existence has been flushed down a garbage disposal or something. It's so bizarre. I can't tell you how awful the depression is. It's really bad. And he goes, well, tell you, why don't we try something and see if we can do something that helps you. I said, well, what are you thinking about? And he goes, why don't you just jump an airplane and come out here? Fly into Tucson. I'll meet you at the airport in Tucson, and then we'll go to Sedona, we'll go to the Grand Canyon, we'll go to the White Mountains, we'll go to Flagstaff, we'll go all around. You don't have to worry about the kids now, right? You just walk away. And I was thinking about it, and he was right. He was spot on right. And it takes a while for that, to go into your system and to really digest it. Because up until that time, I couldn't just jump on an airplane and go to the other side of the country. Well, now I could. And then I said, Bruce, give me an hour or two to think about it. And he goes, what do you have to think about? You don't have any responsibility or obligation to your kids. You're paying support. That's your obligation. And then you'll see them. But you're not responsible for them day in and day out anymore. And I said, yeah, you're right. It's just a weird feeling. It's weird that I'm going to Arizona and leaving my kids behind. And he says, well, let me know, because, you know, the timing was right for him too, and I couldn't wait too long to make the decision. So I decided I'm going. And I just called the airline, got a ticket, went down to the airport with a toothbrush and toothpaste and a few things, you know. We were going to hike the Grand Canyon. I was not in great physical condition, but I lost some weight, and that always helps. And I get on an airplane, and we're jetting out of Philly. We're flying west, and I look out the window, and I can see where I live from like 5,000 feet. You know, I knew the terrain really well, and I've been flying anyway a lot. And I saw that, and it just hurt me. I started crying because I'm leaving my children behind. They're down there, and I'm flying over 2,000 miles west. But you know, I had to wake up to reality. And then I go out and I hike the Grand. We go all the way to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and we stay at Phantom Ranch. And it was wild, man. There's these streams that feed into the Colorado River, and going through that land area, it's the kind of terrain it is. It's very rocky, and boulders break loose all the time. And the orientation we got was, well, if you're sleeping at the Phantom Ranch and suddenly you hear these huge boulders coming down the creek that goes by there, get out and get to high ground, because, you know, they're probably going to run over you. I don't know, that was encouraging. So we're sleeping at Phantom Ranch, and sure enough, man, we hear these huge boulders. It's like a train wreck or something, or like a car wreck. These big rocks are being tumbled down this creek, and we just decided, heck, man, it's going to kill us, screw it. And then we hike back up to the top of the Grand Canyon the next day, and then we go to, we'd already been through Sedona, and we were almost killed ourselves rock climbing there, very close call. My friend lives on the edge, and he just loves taking risks. He's got a death wish, I'm sure. And then we go to the Grand Canyon, then we go to the White Mountains, and then we go to Flagstaff. And then finally, after 2 weeks, I'm rejuvenated, and I'm coming back to Philadelphia. I get back to Philadelphia, and there's a letter from my now ex-wife, and she says, we're through. It's done. We're not going to get back together. And she was hot and heavy with another guy at that point, and I was like, well, that threw me back down, because now my family's gone for sure. And I went into a depression. So it was towards the end of May, around my birthday, and I'll never forget my brother John taking me out for lunch that day. That's the only time he ever did that. Took me out to lunch, and that was my 40. I was 40. Let me think. 93. I would be 42. Yeah, so it was my 42nd birthday. So 42, man, and I'm back living at my parents' house. Oh my God, that's awful. Talk about making no progress in life. You end up back at your parents' place at 42, and you've got nothing. You've been defrocked. You lost your family. Your life is starting completely over. Although I'm still a photographer, I'm still a pilot. So my memory, every day this time of year, every day, any time of the year, my memory latches on to anniversaries. And this is an anniversary of a trip to Arizona from a person that proved to be a really good friend. A really, really good friend. For the most part. Nobody's perfect. Peace, y'all.